Guys, hello and welcome. Thank you for stopping by. Today I would like to talk to you about my new 35mm 1.8S Z mount lens for the Nikon Z system. You will have seen that little bit of what I call street photography, and perhaps many of you might say, no, David, that's not street photography. But this is the first 35mm prime lens I have ever owned, and consequently I have never done much street photography before. The first thing that emerged from my little exercise, it was a quick weekend in Paris. Nothing was planned, nothing was previewed. I don't know Paris particularly well. I've been there only 5 times in my life. The first thing that emerged was how easy it is to take street shots. The combination of the camera and the lens make this type of photography an exciting new possibility for me, and I would suggest to you, perhaps many of you already own a 35 or a 28. I never have. So I'm working with the flip screen at the back. I'm using that. This is new for me. I'm old school. I'm old. I always use the viewfinder, or I have up until now always used the viewfinder. Now I'm starting more and more to rely on the LCD screen. Why not? It's beautiful. It is clear. It is even in daylight when you're out in the street, it is visible and you can work with it. Okay, so that's the first thing. The next thing is, of course, I am now working with a camera strap, and it's a bit like the old Hasselblad days. When you look down at what you're doing, you're taking a new viewpoint from what you're used to. You're no longer doing it up here at your face level, it's down here. The disadvantage with that is, if you've got buildings in the street, which of course you invariably have, you'll be low like this and you will be inclined to tilt the camera up, and that causes a little bit of distortion. But other than that, this lens, what a lens! 1.8, you think, oh, I'd like 1.5. No, this is adequate on this system. This camera and this lens, the combination, is amazing. It is too easy, frankly. So I'm working with the screen, but a couple of things have emerged that I would take issue with Nikon. I would. I mean, you know, guys, that I worship at the temple of Nikon. They can do no wrong. However, on this occasion, they've slipped up on a couple of things. The first is the joystick. It is a bloody nightmare. Why? Because as soon as you touch the camera while it's switched on, you have now moved the focal point because you have inadvertently pushed the joystick whichever way. Now, to work effectively the way I was using the LCD screen, I have chosen the priority for the LCD screen, not the automatic switch, because it will keep your LCD, if it's on auto switch, as soon as it gets near your coat or your body, it will switch back to the viewfinder, and that doesn't work at all. So now what's happening? You've got to search for your focus point, because the joystick has moved it usually in one corner or the other. And it's not easy to see on the LCD screen. So you really want to look through the viewfinder. And of course now it's, and you think, no. So that is a mistake on Nikon's part for not letting us lock this joystick into position. The other thing that emerged that I wasn't aware of previously was that if I did want to change, and I was shooting, all that stuff was shot wide open at 1.8. If rarely I wanted to change the aperture, I was working in aperture priority. So times on time, because of the light, you could see it was grey, it was Paris, it's winter, the light wasn't fabulous. I wanted to change the aperture. I would invariably look at the screen, and then when I'm changing the aperture, one of my fingers, I suppose, that one perhaps, would inadvertently touch this bottom function button here, which changes, at the moment it's programmed to change the auto white balance. Not the auto white balance, the white balance. I've got it set on auto all the time. I don't mess with the white balance. I'm not that forensic. So what would happen is that I'm trying to change the aperture and my finger's touching just lightly, just the slightest touch, and it's gone into auto, it's gone into white balance. And of course it wouldn't go to an easy white balance. It's gone into that bloody tungsten setting where everything looks blue. But other than that, what a camera. What a lens. This has made me a very happy bunny. This is just the boost to my photography that I needed. As I said earlier, I've never owned one of these 35 primes before. Okay, I'm not claiming any level of competency as a street photographer, certainly. Or any level of competency anywhere. I'm just an ordinary enthusiast amateur photographer who loves his Nikon gear. Guys, think about this lens. At the moment, it's about $100 off, and it is a joy to own. Thank you for stopping by. It's been lovely to see you.